The Loch Ness Monster is a legendary creature said to inhabit Loch Ness, a big freshwater lake near Inverness, Scotland. Although legends of an aquatic beast residing in the lake date back 1,500 years, no convincing evidence of the species has been found. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Today we are going to talk about the origins and mythology of the Hecatoncheires Loch Ness Monster. Before we get started with the video, don't forget to smash the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started. The Loch Ness Monster is a legendary creature said to inhabit Loch Ness, a big freshwater lake near Inverness, Scotland. Although legends of an aquatic beast residing in the lake date back 1,500 years, no convincing evidence of the species has been found. However, this hasn't diminished the public's anticipation for any news concerning Nessie. In 1933, journalists, tourists, and curious locals flocked to the beaches of a freshwater lake south of Inverness, Scotland. They were all hoping to see the same thing, the rumored Loch Ness Monster, which had been spotted by a couple out for a drive. The couple said that the giant aquatic creature had been rolling and plunging on the surface. Their story gripped the globe, especially when photographic evidence surfaced the following year. But it wasn't the first time someone reported a monster in Loch Ness. Accounts of a weird beast living in Loch Ness date back to the 6th century and maybe earlier. Is there, however, a monster living in the lake? Is the entire affair an elaborate hoax? The complete history of the Loch Ness Monster tale, from ancient sightings to rejected evidence to plausible explanations, is presented here. Hundreds of years before the world got infatuated with Nessie, residents in the area recorded evidence of a bizarre beast. According to PBs, when 1st century Romans arrived in Scotland, they discovered engravings done by Picts, a violent, deeply tattooed Celtic person in the area. The majority of the carvings were recognized by the Romans, but one thing remains a mystery. It has flippers and a long beak, and it has been described as a swimming elephant. However, its limp posture suggests that it is floating, which leads some to conclude that it is the Loch Ness Monster. The public domain, the Maiden Stone, a Pictish stone discovered by ancient Romans in the 1st century, appears to depict an unidentified animal, which some believe is the legendary Loch Ness Monster. It is debatable if the Pictish carving depicts a creature akin to the Loch Ness Monster. However, another apparent sighting of a Scottish cryptid occurred hundreds of years later. Then, in 565 CE, an Irish abbot named St. Columba claimed to have seen a monster in Loch Ness. According to the National Catholic Register, St. Columba visited a Pict tribe who told him that a gigantic water beast had slain one of their own. St. Columba went to the lake shore and instructed one of his monks to swim across the water and get a boat from the other side. The beast sprang out of the water as the man approached the center of the lake. St. Columba is said to have taken a step forward, made the sign of the cross, and exclaimed, "You will go no further! Do not touch him! Leave immediately!" The water beast obeyed, much to the surprise of the Picts. They were allegedly so amazed that they all converted to Christianity on the spot. The waters of Loch Ness apparently remained quiet for a long time after that. However, whispers of something peculiar in the lake persisted. Everything changed in 1933, when a local couple claimed to have spotted a Loch Ness Monster. On April 14, 1933, Aldi McKay was traveling with her husband along a new road near Loch Ness when she noticed something in the water. It appeared black and wet, and it fell back and wet, and it fell back into the depths while McKay watched in fear. The Inverness Courier confirmed McKay's encounter a few weeks later, stating that a local couple saw a monster in Loch Ness, an enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface. Other sightings quickly followed. According to the BC, clerics, fishermen, students, police officers, and bank managers all claimed to have seen the beast. And it wasn't simply that folks saw the Loch Ness Monster in the lake. Some witnesses began to say that they had encountered the beast while on land. According to Historic UK, on July 22nd, George Spicer and his wife claimed to have seen a gray, trunk-like object travel over the road and disappear into the surrounding water. Months later, in January 1934, a veterinary student named Arthur Grant said that while riding his motorcycle late one night near Loch Ness, he nearly collided with a long-necked creature. According to PBs, A big game hunter named Marmaduke Wetherell was recruited by the London Daily Mail and was able to track down exceptionally enormous footprints near the coast of Loch Ness. It didn't take long for these big footprints to be identified as those of a hippopotamus, prompting claims that Wetherell had faked them using a stuffed hippopotamus foot. These sightings, particularly Wetherell's, were easy to ignore for skeptics. But then, in 1934, astonishing photographic proof appeared to establish the existence of the Loch Ness Monster. The Daily Mail published a frightening photograph of the Loch Ness Monster in April 1934. The photograph was purchased by the publication from a London physician named Robert Kenneth Wilson, who claimed to have taken it while driving up to Inverness to photograph birds. For decades, the 1934 photograph served as the definitive proof for those who believed in Nessie. However, the photograph's tale took a terrible turn in 1990. Then it was revealed that Wetherell, dissatisfied with the Daily Mail's treatment of him, had enlisted the services of his son, Ian, and stepson, Christian Spurling, to fabricate a photograph of the famed Scottish cryptid. And Wilson, who was persuaded to cooperate by the Wetherells because they shared mutual contacts, provided the family with the perfect cover and credibility to pull off the prank. In 1975, Ian Wetherell admitted that the photograph was a forgery, but according to Peasy, nearly no one listened. It wasn't until Alastair Boyd, a Loch Ness fanatic, found the sick Spurling that he revealed the complete story, revealing that the monster in the photo was actually plastic wood-painted gray and grafted to a toy submarine. So, is the Loch Ness Monster merely a legend? Other reasons why the famed cryptid couldn't have existed, according to Vox, include the fact that no bones have ever been discovered and that the lake is too small and frigid to support a reptile. Light creature like Nessie, though some of the most persuasive evidence for the Loch Ness Monster was proven to be manufactured. Investigations of the lake itself have revealed that some kind of intriguing creature lives in its depths. Sonar expeditions at Loch Ness in the 1960s discovered some kind of big, moving object in the lake. In 1975, an expedition that used sonar and underwater photography appeared to have captured a huge flipper. The first and least likely explanation is that the Loch Ness Monster is the last living ancestor of a dinosaur. Some supporters of this hypothesis believe Nessie is a plesiosaur, a long-necked sea animal that originally appeared 200 million years ago. However, this is doubtful. For starters, the lake is likely too cold for a plesiosaur, unless it has undergone significant modifications. Plesiosaurs, on the other hand, have most likely been extinct for more than 60 million years. In pursuit of answers, geneticist Neil Gemmell of the University of Otago in New Zealand set out to explore the DNA of Loch Ness itself. According to the Washington Post, he and his colleagues studied DNA in 250 lake water samples and discovered no genetic evidence of prehistoric reptiles such as the plesiosaur. The remaining theory, which we cannot refute based on the environmental DNA data obtained, is that what people are seeing is a very large eel, he and his colleagues wrote. While this is an intriguing theory, the largest eel ever collected in Europe weighed only 12 pounds, so it isn't exactly huge. So, what have visitors observed in Loch Ness? Other causes include surface vibrations, massive fish, or simply floating branches. In other words, it's possible that all of the Loch Ness Monster sightings were the result of a light trick or an odd shape captured in the corner of someone's eye. Then again, perhaps not. Aside from the fabricated proof, perhaps there is something truly terrifying lurking in the depths of Loch Ness. After all, pics, Christian saints, and 20th century couples out for a drive have all described a black, long-necked creature. Perhaps you'll have to go to Loch Ness yourself to discover the truth. Maybe you'll spot a ripple in the lake in the middle of the night that might be the wind, or the famous Loch Ness Monster out for a swim. That's a wrap on the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know by giving it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe.